Thank you all for making this event a big success. And thank you to the dignitaries here. Thank you to the government. Thank you to many of our customers to come here. I think I echo a lot of the sentiments. We are a family who's been here 37 years. And I echo the sentiment that Dr. Farida just said. A happy nation and a prosperous nation is where there is a happy community and a happy society, and that comes out of a sense of responsibility, shared values, and a public-private partnership. Jumping into this particular question, which is probably in a lot of people's minds, is Emiratization, retention, and engagement strategies. And I would like to welcome Amal from NAFIS and Nasser from the private sector, from the Chalhoub group. Welcome, both of you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's just jump into it. I think we're going to talk about what practical steps can employers take to make a future-ready and inclusive workforce. The first question, I think, on everybody's mind is, what, say, are the top 3 factors that influence the Emiratis' decision to stay in the organization? Nasser, if you want to go first, and we'll then hear the government perspective.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good morning. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for Task Group for giving us the opportunity actually to share and exchange thoughts about how we can actually drive Emiratization forward. So I do appreciate being part of Emiratization Summit today, and thank you for the opportunity, Mahesh and the team. If I take a step back to say that when it comes to Emiratization, we are very fortunate to be in UAE. We do have the visionary leadership that actually trying to do as much as it can to make sure that Emiratis are integrated within the whole ecosystem that we have and be an integral part of the economy. And then we have this great collaboration and partnership between the public, naming few of them, the Ministry of Human Resource and Emiratization, NAFIS, which my colleague Amal will be representing, and the local ones like Dubai Government Human Resource Department. That kind of unique partnership and collaboration between the private and public actually is helping a lot to boost whatever effort has been given by the private sector to engage and attract Emiratis. And third, I think Her Excellency Farida just mentioned it, we do have great talent among us. Emiratis, and this is a country where it was established from the inception by Emiratis. I mean, whenever you look at coming from private sector, most of our public or private groups actually were started by young, talented Emiratis who had a vision, and we were supported by the ecosystem that we have in UAE. For us at Chalhoub Group, being in this region for more than 70 years, we believe that to ensure that Emiratization is going in the right direction, you need to focus on upskilling your talent. You need to make sure that they are well integrated in the fabric of the organization so they feel inclusive. And this is something that we are very proud of in Chalhoub Group as part of our diversity drive to ensure that the national talent are empowered and integrated into the fabric and the culture of the group itself. And lastly, it's the career growth. And this is something that actually play a big role because once they get in, they would like to see what's next for them. And this is, by the way, this is not only the Emiratis. It's not only the youth, it's everybody. They like to know where they're going to be heading if they can fulfill the requirement of the role itself. So those 3 things that I think play key role in retaining Emiratis and engaging them.
Thank you, Nasser. That was really nice, the way you summarized it. Amal, what do you think? What is the government doing to support this?
So first of all, thank you so much, Mahesh, for having me here representing the Emirati Talent Competitiveness Council and NAFIS program. To add to Nasser's point, I think the focus areas currently for Emiratis is the visibility in terms of their career path, as well as the alignment with their academic qualifications against the job that they are performing today. And lastly, obviously, the competitive compensation. And how NAFIS tackles some of these matters is through the targeted skills development programs that today are tailored for specific fields, occupations, programs. Today we've got development programs that offer training in terms of raising certain competencies and skills, for instance, the teaching specialties, the healthcare sector, AI, media apprenticeship, and so much more. On the compensation part, we obviously, Her Excellency touched upon it in terms of the financial support that we provide today as one of NAFIS' main programs. And we try to compensate or as a top-up provide that financial support to smoothen the transition of Emiratis into the labor market, making it more attractive and sustainable.
Since we're on this, Amal, I think maybe the audience would like to hear a little bit more. When we talked last, you had mentioned to me a lot about the leadership programs. I think you even sent people to Singapore. You want to just touch a little bit light on that?
So in partnership with the Government Leadership Program, we have launched the second cohort of NAFIS Leadership Program, which is a program designed to polish the leadership skill of emerging leaders of the private sector. So the program currently exists for the public, and we wanted to create something very similar for those Emiratis working in the private sector. The program is a 6 months intense program that goes through an online assessment, and then a thorough physical assessment, and then lastly one-to-one interviews. And today we're happy to say we've got 26 participants, Emirati participants, as part of that program from different sectors. We've got the banking, the healthcare, agriculture, all going through this program that touches upon innovation, AI, mastering negotiation, dealing with the media, and people management. And during the course, they work or discuss or get to have the opportunity to meet leaders both locally and internationally. As you said, part of the program is a Singapore trip where they look into how some of the success stories of the Singaporean leaders today and where they were and how they have become. So it's a fantastic program, and honestly, we urge all private sector employers here today to push their Emiratis and encourage them to participate and enroll in the next cohort.
I mean, it's really interesting. I think some of you can sit down if you like. There are some empty chairs, but it's really interesting to hear that the government is really supporting the Emiratis in the private sector so much. Nasser, back to you. The Chalhoub group does a lot. And the reason we are dwelling a little bit more on this is because, retention, to increase retention, one has to go and see, of course, beyond salary. So Nasser, tell us, what is Chalhoub Group doing? I know you're doing a lot of good work.
Thank you, Mahesh. I think the first thing started with listening to our people. And this is something that we take it very seriously. We do it internally, and we do it through third party, where we do have those engagement surveys going on outside for our associate. So we listen to what they really matter to them. And this includes everybody. Then we dissect the information itself to see what we can do more when it comes to certain segment of our population. For example, for nationals, one of the areas that we know that our people are so keen about is career growth, career progression. So the way that we address it in Chalhoub Group, we wanted to make sure that we look at the whole chain from the start, from the recruitment, because that's where it starts, making sure that the people know what they're coming to. They know what's expected from them. And they know what's in it for them also. So the onboarding is very critical for us. And then we start with our Retail Academy, which is part of Chalhoub University. It is a hybrid model where it is digital as well as in person. And it is in D3, Design District, Dubai Design District. And there where people, most of the people who are coming to retail, they will get their first learning to make sure that they are upskilled. As you know, that most of the Emiratis, for them, retail, luxury retail especially, is not something that they've been doing for long. They have the passion for it, so it's our duty to make sure that they are upskilled to the point that they can actually deliver what's requested from them. And it's not only about retail in store. We do have our Well-Being Academy, part of the Chalhoub University, to ensure that also that matter is also looked after. And we recently introduced the AI Academy, which is mainly focusing right now on the digital platforms, because part of our AI strategy is to make sure that our population is well aware of what generative AI is and what robotics will actually impact their business. So I'm glad that 50% of our Emirati population already been through this training. And then it goes actually further on. So if they are in retail, we have what we call CRQ. Then we have the leadership level 1, and we have the leadership level 2. We put a bit of more emphasis on the women, so we do have Women in Leadership program. And for that, it's not just in-house. We bring in the expert from around the world, different topics that they actually go through that term of the leadership program of Women in Leadership. And then we have what we call BOLD program, which is meant to be more for business-oriented people, and that's also open for Emiratis as well as non-Emiratis, which include trip to of Paris and other areas. And we have what we call the platform for the leadership. It's for the emerging talent and for the executive leadership. We call it Lead Forward, and that includes about globally for Chalhoub 200 plus leaders. And there are many, there are about 4% of them are nationals, and we are proud that some of the Emiratis actually onboarded that program. Besides that, we have what we call the shadow board, advisory board, which is called NEXT in Chalhoub. And in that also we have nationals, and we have one of our Emiratis is part of that. It's a very close circle nationals that look, advisory board that look after the whole group. Globally, we talk about 16,000 plus employees. We talk about being 8 countries. So to have an Emirati within that advisory board is something that's refreshing. And she's senior marketing manager, and actually she leads the marketing efforts of our flagship store, Level Shoes in Dubai Mall, which is one of the mega businesses that we have in Chalhoub Group. So for it to be managed by an Emirati, together with few of the team actually are Emiratis, it's something that's refreshing. And this is because of all those touch points we had. We do have apprenticeship, we have the work placement, and we do have, of course, our national graduate program. And my colleague, Director of Nationalization, Talent Management, is actually revamping the whole things because we believe that there's always area to improve. So those are some of the touch points. And definitely, this wasn't being possible without the collaboration that we get from different entities, like NAFIS, like Department of Human Resources at Dubai Government, like DCT, Dubai College of Tourism, which actually is supporting us also to better define the curriculum around those learning touch points.
Nasser, I mean, I lost count of the initiatives that Chalhoub Group does under your leadership. There's really so much. In fact, I think you can have a class for the private sector. It's really so much. The guidebook that will be launched, the 3rd edition this year, says job security is one of the most important, other than the compensation for the Emiratis. It's 42.91%. And career path, which you talked a lot about, and NAFIS supports a lot in the learning and development, that is 37.22% important for the Emiratis. Let's talk a little bit about a third thing, which is company culture, which is 28.93% of the Emiratis surveyed, and we surveyed almost about 2,500. The company culture is very important. Any thoughts around how you build or help build an integration culture of the expats and Emiratis? How do you do it?
Okay, if you'd like me to answer that one, I would be very happy. If you look at Chalhoub Group, we are a group that has more than 120 nationalities. So it's not, it is something that we are very proud of. And actually, with the way that we look at Emiratization, it's that it's part of our diversity drive, as well as the excellence drive that we are proud of. And as I mentioned in the beginning, one of the major things that making sure that Emirati will stay around and actually will be retained is to make sure that they are well integrated into the culture of the organization. And to do that, it's all about the mindset. There's a lot of work done by NAFIS, by Ministry of Human Resource and Emiratization, to change the mindset of the Emirati themselves about the private sector, because it's actually a land of opportunity for anybody to grow within the private sector. This is coming from somebody who started in Air Force as an officer and now in private sector. So I saw both sides, and there's opportunity in both, but the opportunities are endless in the private sector for growth. So coming back to the Ministry of Human Resource, for NAFIS, for the great work they're doing actually to change the mindset of the talent, we at Chalhoub also wanted to make sure that we actually complement that with working also with the mindset of our colleagues within Chalhoub itself, to make sure that they do see it as a value add. They do see Emiratization as something that it's part of our diversity drive. So we've been doing a lot of those workshops with our managers on how to better integrate Emiratis into the fabric, because let's face it, it is a challenge sometimes when you work with 120 plus nationalities to ensure that they all are respectable of the cultural sensitivity sometimes. So it takes some efforts, and this is something that we are very proud we've done it right. Is there room for improvement? Definitely there is. And there is also that side from our Emiratis. So we always in that constant drive to improve it from both sides. And we made sure that the buy-in starts from the leadership. And we are very proud that our group CEO, our chairman, our president, and our ex-com actually are the key driver for Emiratization. Even when it comes to creating that culture of where Emirati feel they are very welcomed, they are appreciated for what they are, and they are actually valued for the contribution they actually have on our business. We are a retail business. Big segment of our customers actually Emiratis and people who live in this region. So nobody knows what they want and how to connect with them, how to build that relationship as it is with the Emiratis. Of course, they need to be upskilled, and that's our duty. But we need to make sure that the work environment itself is helpful, is encouraging them to be their best. And that's what we're trying to do with those touch points.
Thank you. Amal, would you like to add?
100%. So I totally agree with what you've just mentioned, Nasser. I think in terms of cultural alignment, it starts from day one during the onboarding process, the induction program. It's very important to emphasize the organizations and the cultural values to the new employees, incorporating that eventually into the training programs during the meetings, and that would eventually result in creating that sense of belonging that you were talking about, and the shared purpose they would like to eventually see and have within the entity.
Excuse me, just going on with that, I believe NAFIS also provides career counseling services. You want to talk a little bit about that, how that might even impact that integration?
100%. So in terms of the NAFIS Career Counseling Program, it is out there and available for all Emiratis, whether they're job seekers or employed already in the private sector. And so a lot of our counselors today are available in terms of mentoring, coaching, how to draft your CV, how to conduct an interview with an entity. A lot have benefited from the program and have been able to pass the interviews from the very start into the private sector. And it creates that kind of again, smooth transition as they enter a very competitive working environment such as the private sector.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Nasser, moving back to you, Amal just touched upon something very important that came out from our survey, which was 75% of Emiratis are looking for a sense of meaning and purpose in the organization. What does Chalhoub Group do?
I like what you said, Amal. Honestly, that sense of belonging is very critical because that's where the whole thing, the whole landscape change. And if you allow me just 1 minute on that.
Please take your time.
We are fortunate to have a great leader among us. He's currently the chairman, but he used to be the group CEO, who was very keen on meeting every single Emirati that joined our business as much as he can. So we used to have, with the help of the team, what we call it the morning breakfast. So it starts, and he just listened. And he tells them about his story. But that was one of the great touch points. And as you said, Amal, rightly said, it's all starts from the beginning, you know. And that's one of the things that we are very proud of, and we're still doing that. We call it Coffee with the Presidents. So, and that's open for, sometimes we restrict it for Emiratis, sometimes we open it up just as a part of integration with the wider population. And we, of course, we celebrate the Momentum Days in UAE together with our colleagues, like whether it's Emirati Women Day, whether it's National Day, whether it's different days throughout the year. And our leadership makes sure that they are there with us to give that we are part of this country. And this is something that makes the whole difference. And going back to your question about sustainability, I will share with you our group sustainability report, which is something that we are very proud of. Chalhoub Group is actually a member of UN Compact group, which is overlooking women empowerment, making sure of the diversity drive. So that's at the UN level. And also, our chairman used to be the president of the local chamber here in the GCC area. So when it comes to matters to do with any matter to do with sustainability, whether it's integration of the youth or the women empowerment or its environment, you will see us there. We are committed as a group that to be net zero by 2040. We were not pushed to be commit ourselves. We did it because we believe in it. We are transforming our fleet to electrical EV cars, just to make sure that we minimize. We actually now mandate our suppliers that they sign, that they comply with the human rights, and also that they make sure that they comply with the requirement of environment. So we're trying to go even the extra step to influence the whole supply chain, because we are at the end of it, but there are many touch points that we need to work on. We are very keen on making sure that new brands that we bring in to this region is actually sustainable, like Farm Rio. Stella McCarthy, at one point also we had it, and that's fully sustainable. And we're trying to work now, we have a program called Ufuk, which we started with LVMH, Amar, Addar, MAF, and that is more about how we can reduce the energy consumption. We have our solar panel in our head office in Jafza, both of them warehouses, and that's part of the thing that we do. But above all, it's actually the focus that we do to shift that kind of like mindset of our people to be more mindful about what they can contribute. When it comes to matters to do with what happened recently in the conflicts, I'm very proud that our colleagues actually were part of packaging and distributing food, and also collaborating with certain entities like Mohammed bin Rashid Global Initiative and others to help people in needs in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Morocco, in Turkey before that, and in Syria. So And this is something that we promote a lot. And volunteering been always there. During Ramadan, our chairman was part of those volunteers. We had more than 270 volunteers. Good number of them were Emiratis. And that's all just part of what we do. And yeah, I wouldn't take more time on that.
That's amazing. I mean, just to share that at Task, we are actually blessed to be in the business of people. So our purpose is creating opportunities, impacting lives. And I routinely tell my people that, you know, when there is somebody's job, when they start a career with us, or when they leave, or sometimes, God forbid, there are incidents where, you know, life happens and people pass away in different countries. I tell them that it's more important to, your behavior is more reflective of who you are as a company when you come to the aid of somebody in need and trouble. So we have those values. Also, I would like to add that the new generation that is coming is really concerned about the planet and sustainability. They do need a sense of purpose. And more we see, compared to the generations before, is that employees are asking, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I think building that is extremely important. You want to say something?
I love what you said, because we, through our intelligence team, we did survey for both Gen Z, and we had a survey done by, and was published by Her Excellency Chalhoub about Gen Alpha. I mean, and both of them, when it comes to what actually make the difference, it was, I would like to be associated with something that has meaning to it. And this is something that we take it to the heart when it comes to Chalhoub Group. We tell people that you are not just joining a luxury retail who's shaping the market, you're actually joining an entity that care about the planet, the community, and the partners. And we are here to make a positive impact on people's life. That's why we always highlight what they can do besides having this kind of career with us at Chalhoub Group. It's what impact they can be part of in the community, which of course, as you said, it means a lot, especially for the young generations.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I still remember an example by our team when they came back from an art, they were helping kids with art. And I think it was challenged kids. And they said that was the best experience they ever had. So I think this has become very important as part of the general job on this. Amal, would you like to talk anything about, there was some discussion Nasser said about women empowerment. And I heard that you support in, I think, on-site care or children allowance. What does NAFIS do to support families?
So we support in certain, in different ways. One of them is the child allowance that we currently provide to parents. Today, the child allowance exists for the government employees, and we have, as part of NAFIS, we have done so for those who are entering the private sector. So it's an amount of 600 dirhams per child that is given directly to the employee who works in the private sector to support his family. This year is the year of community, and so we haven't been just doing financial support or such programs. We're also conducting some discussion forums. So we've had one recently during Ramadan for the elderly people, where NAFIS Youth Council, our representatives from the private sector have led this forum and have invited Thamra, which is a small entity in which kids at the age of 8 and 10 work or are part of it. So that we had a beautiful little girl who was a sales representative talking and speaking to the elderly about her experience in the working life. In general, it just creates that kind of sense of community and readiness to enter the market. So I think some of these initiatives that NAFIS currently leads with the NAFIS Youth Council contributes a lot to that sense, I guess.
Thank you for sharing. Nasser, moving on to another topic, the Emiratis, like many communities, but particularly so, are very connected to family and community, like Amal said. What is your policy for work from home and remote working?
I'm going to be promoting now Chalhoub Group here. I'm very proud to say that Chalhoub Group is among few companies actually was awarded the Parents Friendly Award by His Highness Sheikh Sayyidi Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, and it was given to our group CEO Michael Chalhoub. And that itself tells you how much we care about the support that we give for the parents to make sure that they are supported during this period. We are one of the few groups that actually grant fathers 30 days paid leave. I don't think that anyone else, as far as I know, do that. I know there is 10% in this region, but I'm not sure who are the other ones. And we do give 90 days paid leave for the mothers. And we're launching actually, it's next week, we're launching a community dedicated only for mothers to give that extra support to them among themselves. And of course, the things that to do with being very flexible with the expecting mothers is there to the extreme. And we do have examples among us here, I'm not going to shout their name, who actually were given the chance to go to part-time during that period, then move back again to full-time. And this is supported by the group. It's not just a call of one person or a manager. So aside from the 3 months for the mothers, 1 month for the fathers, we do have the flexi work system where we introduce that I'm talking about the back end office, they can work 2 days remotely. They need to arrange that with their manager based on the business needs. So that's 2 days a week. And we do have flexi hours even during the days that they are in office. They need to be in office from 10 to 4, but that before and after, that's something they can manage it with their managers. We do have what we call it, and this is something that our Emiratis and non-Emiratis to take an average, leverage on it. We have what we call it working from abroad. Every year, you are allowed to work 4 weeks from abroad. As long as you can sustain that from 10 to 4, you can be online. So it wouldn't work for people in Australia or in the US, but people like from Europe, most of the Asian countries, Arab countries, they can still leverage that. And that's open for everybody. So there are multiple things, but the main thing that makes a difference, Mahish, is that the mindset of the leadership, that this is something we should be proud of, that we do have people who actually, going through this cycle of their life where they need to be supported. So that kind of support and mindset that we need to support, whether they're expecting parents, whether they're mothers or even fathers during that period. And the good thing, even going back to the parent leave, you can take it as you wish. It's not like you have to take it right away, because you can manage it between you and your spouse that you would like to take it later on. So you have that leverage to take it even further down the road if you want it. That's one of few of the things that we do have in Chalhoub Group that support mothers and support fathers and support the family, because at the end of the day, we are a family-built group. And that tells you a lot about who we are.
Yeah, you definitely...
Quite impressive what Chalhoub is doing. I think such initiatives just go a long way in retaining employees and ensuring that their participation is continuous. And it just, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
quite impressive.
You set a very high bar, actually. You probably caused a lot of trouble for the rest of us here, but It's a,
We try to work it out for our frontliners because they are also big population. We managed for Emiratis to make the work days 5 days instead of 6. We managed to do it for everybody else after they finish 2 years, but for Emirati from day one. And we're trying to also to accommodate Emiratis who would like to continue their studies, you know, because that's also something sometimes families are hesitant for their kids to go fully to work while not continuing their studies. So we do have the part-time also as an option.
amazing. Well done. Well, maybe my last question, there cannot be any panel session without, a word on AI. Our survey shows that 52.26% of Emiratis have a knowledge of AI, basic AI, but familiarity of the concepts, and another 39% know about data analysts and different tools. How is the awareness of AI in the Emiratis? How are you, maybe first, maybe Amal, if you want to say, are there any sector-specific trainings? How are you preparing the Emirati population for this?
So we've already started. AI has now become part of our daily life, and everyone is using ChatGPT and other forms of AI tools. So absolutely, we definitely support from a training perspective, enabling Emiratis to get opportunities and raise their competencies and skills in AI, big data, data science. Some of these programs are readily available on NAFIS platform today. So we're not only looking at having Emiratis joining traditional jobs, but we also want them to contribute to the digital future of the UAE itself. So definitely we're the big supporters of what is coming.
I mean, I think we're blessed to be in this region. The UAE is investing so much into AI. I think it probably had the first AI minister. I remember His Excellency once told me he was 26 or something when he was appointed. So the country is definitely on the forefront of that. So thanks to the government on that. Nasser, what are you doing on AI?
Mahesh, you said is right. You know, you cannot think about AI and you are in UAE, where actually AI is the talk of the day. We had the minister in 2017, His Excellency Omar, but didn't stop there. I mean, look at it, what's happening now. I mean, with the President Trump visiting us, there's so much of investment from UAE actually in US around AI and digitalization. And there is a big drive, whether it's from the whole federal government or local government of Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And I believe that we are on top of it when it comes to Chalhoub Group. We associate ourselves with Microsoft. And now we're looking into other partners where we actually can leverage on the AI, and especially with how to predict the needs of our customers, and also how to anticipate their needs even early on. So in the CRM system, we do have the implementation of AI. We started that, but because we're going through a big transformation in Chalhoub, which is now we partner with SAP and Ascension for that, we're actually trying to make sure that AI is on top of the agenda. It's not quite clear to what level, but we made sure that, for example, we implement awareness session for all of our population through our Chalhoub University. So generative AI and the basic of AIs, it's already there. And the good thing about it, Mahesh, at Chalhoub University and through Chalhoub, as general in Chalhoub Group, pioneered by Chalhoub University, we have the capacity to give the access for the people for courses that actually meant for AI and other digital platforms. So we do have the capacity to include courses from Coursera, for example, on top of what we have already, and we have a lot in our Chalhoub University. So those things, making sure that the digitalization and Chalhoub Transform team give that awareness for our people, include some of the Emiratis even in some of those projects, because learning is not only from the classroom. As my colleague Amal said about mentoring, coaching, and also shadowing some of the people who actually work on those projects been actually found to be very beneficial for the Emiratis to gain the knowledge about what's going on in the world of AI.
Yeah, and also in Task, we use SAP. We are going through transformation. Actually, we are at the forefront in the region for maybe even influencing and thought leadership on future of work. We are creating AI agents now and really seeing how not only we can help our clients do work with the people we train and give out, but also with a combination of AI agents that we are developing. But it's just amazing to be in this part of the world where we saw Elon Musk and we saw, I think, Ruth, the CEO of Google, and Arvind, the IBM guy, and so many people giving this kind of, we have an operation in Saudi, and I recently heard that NVIDIA is talking to us and so on. But it's great to be in this part of the world with so much awareness and exposure to AI. It's great to be, I guess, an Emirati here as well with so many opportunities. With this, I would like to conclude and thank you both. Thank you, Amal. Thank you, Nasir. And thank you to all of you for, I hope this was useful.
Thank you so much.